It's the rematch nobody wanted. Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. President Biden announced his re-election bid on Tuesday. His big message? The battle for the soul of America is not complete, he says. Full marks for drama, but past experience tells us one thing. You resort to drama when you have no substance. Biden's campaign video talks a lot about decency, honesty, and respect. Listen to this.
The question we're facing is whether in the years ahead we have more freedom or less freedom, more rights or fewer. I know what I want the answer to be, and I think you do too. This is not a time to be complacent. That's why I'm running for re-election. Because I know America. I know we're good and decent people. I know we're still a country that believes in honesty and respect and treating each other with dignity.
Talk about an oversell. Biden's path to the nomination is easy. Sitting presidents do not face much opposition from within the party. So the question is, who will challenge him? Who will the Republican Party nominate? From the looks of it, it will be Donald Trump. He announced his candidacy in November last year, and if he wins, it will be a record of sorts. Only one U.S. president has served 2 non-consecutive terms in America. And this was way back in 1893. Since then, presidents usually do 2 things. They either lose and retire, or they serve 2 consecutive terms and then retire. But then Trump is not your normal president. He isn't campaigning for the soul of America. He's campaigning with a vengeance. We'll get to Trump later. First, let's talk about Biden's chances. He's 80 years old now. He will be 86 by the time his 2nd term ends, if he wins, that is. Now, I'm not big on ageism, but I will say this. The average retirement age in America is 62 years. Teachers retire by 62. Doctors retire by 62. Cops and firemen retire by 62. So should the man with the nuclear codes work till 86? Well, that's for the Americans to decide. Biden has had moderate success in his first term in office. He got some big spending bills passed, like the $1 trillion infrastructure package and the $50 billion chip industry package. The downside of that? Higher inflation. Biden presided over the highest U.S. inflation in 4 decades. It has eased now, but people remember the pain. On foreign policy, he's had a mixed bag. Afghanistan and Ukraine have been disasters, but on Ukraine, he partially salvaged the situation. How? By expanding NATO into the Nordic. Finland has already joined, and Sweden will follow. But some big promises have been forgotten, like the Iran nuclear deal. Biden promised to revive it, but so far, he's not been able to. Under Biden, the U.S. has lost even more strategic space in West Asia. China ended up brokering a deal between Iran and Saudi Arabia. It was unthinkable a few years ago. But Biden's biggest problem is not policy, because let's face it, which president has wowed the world with his policies? Biden's biggest problem is the lack of excitement. You see, Trump has a clear rallying call, make America great again. He's the victim. And Biden is the deep state. The recent indictment has also played into that narrative. Compare that to Biden's slogan, battle for the soul of the nation. What does that even mean? It's good for a James Cameron movie, not so much for an 80-year-old's re-election campaign. Biden benefited in 2020 from a sense of hopelessness, because Democrats basically said anyone but Trump. But 3 years later, the dynamic is different. Trump has consolidated his base, but Biden has consistently lost his. His approval ratings are just 42%. Even among Democrats, it's only 74%. And don't get me wrong, Biden's shortcomings do not make Trump look any better. He was an erratic and bigoted leader. As journalists, we don't miss his 3 a.m. tweets about nuking North Korea. My point is this. Both these men appear unqualified, and Americans agree. A recent poll found that 2/3 of all Americans do not want Biden or Trump. They do not want a 2020 rematch. That tells you a lot about America's political system. Their leaders keep talking about diversity, about how America is a melting pot of cultures, how the American dream is the ultimate dream, yet every 4 years, it comes down to the same thing, 2 old white men fighting for the White House. Where is the diversity? Where are the new ideas? Biden will tell you that Trump and right-wing extremism is a threat to U.S. democracy, and he's right. But guess what else is? Billionaire donors and so-called philanthropists putting 80-year-old men in the White House.